Hello and welcome to the Rag Company podcast, main show, number 16, I believe it is.
Yeah.
16.
Wow.
What
And
a
Anthony's
number.
back in this
And
one.
this guy's
I'm back.
Yeah.
I'm back in the saddle.
You may notice
again.
we don't have
Yes.
any paper in front of us. We're going to freestyle this one. This is going to be old school. So
Well, yeah.
we got some ideas, but at the
We're gonna
same
get
time, it
creative
could get a
with this
little
one.
loosey-goosey.
It's been a very busy day.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
not going to be a normal detailing podcast per se. We're going to go around a little bit. So, yeah. Anyway, I'll let Levi take us away.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah.
So this is the week of Thanksgiving. So we spoke about gratitude last week. This is going back into that same thing and being thankful, I think, for things in your life and things that you've done.
Yeah.
So if you are listening to this, I recommend you go to YouTube and watch this because I've got some visual aids here
Oh, yeah.
we're going to be
Yeah.
using. So starting right off, I sent my RUPES 21. This is the very first one. It's a 2013 model.
Very first one, Idaho.
Very first one in Idaho.
Yeah.
This
Big
one,
deal to us.
yeah. So the way this got here, it came from Phil at Detailer's Domain. Phil sold them to Tom Smith of MVP Distributing, and Tom sold it to me. Now, the very first two Tom ordered from Phil, when the machines came out and people were starting to get their allotments, when this machine started becoming available, Tom ordered 3 machines. This one for me, one for him, and then one to sell because he wasn't sure if he could sell the machines, but he wanted to get one for himself just to try it. I had been hounding him to get the RUPES as I started seeing people that I followed on Facebook starting to get them and use them. So that's how I got this thing. Well, as you all know, I went to the RUPES factory for the grand opening and 70th anniversary, and this machine was there. This exact unit was in the Colorado getting refurbished. So this was the surprise.
Yeah.
I asked that they just fix up all the guts inside and keep the old casing because I like the way this looks. I love that it's all
Patina.
damaged and scratched and beat up because this is a workhorse. This has been in my shop.
How many cars do you say you did with it?
It's touched about anywhere between 4,000 and 6,000 cars. It's
Yeah.
quite
It's
a bit.
insane.
It's
Just
it's
a few.
more. It's closer to probably 4,000, I think. But this has been in the hands of all my employees over the course of those 4 years. And I've gone through a few employees, but they've all learned on this. This was our old standby. This one always worked no matter what. It always ran good. It's had probably 6 backing plates, 10 sets of brushes, and 3 power cords. So RUPES called me and said, hey, we can't fit the cases back on the machine. Now that we've taken them off, we can't really put them back on. So I'm going to have to replace the cases. Kyle called and said that. And I was like, man, all right. Well, I mean, as long as you can just send me the pieces back, I'll do something with them. I'll figure something out. And he said, oh, yeah, I can do that. I'll just throw them in the box for you. And so I assumed they were going to show up in pieces. I was going to have, 4 separate parts. Well, so I opened the box. And this showed up.
Oh man,
Nice.
look how nice. How
So
nice.
this is my
Fancy.
machine with the old motor in here. It's been fixed up and checked. New switches. The only thing he did keep over was my old
Orange switch. Yeah.
Yep.
and my rotor and all that stuff up here. But everything's brand new. So sent the machine back, which was awesome to get a new machine back, basically,
That's so
or a
cool.
refreshed factory refreshed machine. And then there was another box that had this all assembled. And this has all my, pieces, basically.
It's the old body.
Yeah, it's the old body, but it was assembled.
That
I
is cool.
expected it would just be in pieces, and I do this myself. And so I posted on Facebook and Instagram. We know the SEMA RUPES booth did the art of Bigfoot, where they had all the different painters come and customize these cases, and then they had a $2,500
charity prize.
To the artist's favorite charity. And so that was really cool, and everything was hung up on the wall all the way down, all the different versions. And so now I technically have my own art of Bigfoot. So I'm extremely thankful for that, because this machine, I don't know, didn't make me a detailer, I'm going to say. I've always, for 20 years I've been slinging a rotary and doing all that stuff. But this machine, I don't know, brought me to that next level.
It elevated your game.
Yeah, it elevated my game. It elevated the detailing for a lot of my guys. It made it more accessible. It made it easier for me to train my employees on how to do cars, because I didn't have to spend the years teaching them how to use a rotary. I could spend 6 to 8 weeks using this, and they'd have it. I mean, they had it the first day, but they started to learn all the little idiosyncrasies of it. But this machine made my guys good detailers, great detailers, and they all had a hand in it. We had one machine for about 6 months, and this guy did the majority of the work, and then we got a second machine, and it was killer to finally have that second machine. And then I literally bought every new RUPES machine that started to become available, and made sure I got the first in the state of those. So
early adopter model.
Yeah. So I got the first hybrid. I've got the first LHR 75. I've got the first 15. I've got the first Mark 221 in the state. I've got these machines as they came. So it was a very nice thing to see this one, as I call it, as we've been calling it here, the Idaho 21 #1.
Yeah.
So pretty cool, pretty neat feature to have now. So now it gets to hang out in my office on my shelf, and I still get to use the machine.
It's true.
So now I have my
You can
machine.
have your cake and eat
Exactly,
it too,
which I thought was pretty rad, and so I'm extremely thankful to RUPES for doing that.
I'm thinking of you.
And I'm very thankful that sorry, I'm getting all
Choked up.
kind of choked up.
The emotions.
I'm thankful to Dylan for helping facilitate that. I texted him that night and was like, "Did you do this? Did you have a hand in it?" He said, "I'm not going to say anything. Just
Can neither
make sure you
confirm
tell
nor deny."
Make sure you tell the story." And so, thankful to my brother from another mother for helping me out with that. Thankful to Kyle at RUPES for putting all this together and working on the old machine. I'm thankful to everybody at RUPES for doing that. And I think it's a really cool. And I wrote him a little letter and said, "This is why I'm sending it in. This is what this machine has done."
That means a lot to you. You'd be ashamed to see that.
Yeah,
go.
well, and I don't. It's. I think in our society we're too throwaway with a lot of stuff, and I've always liked keeping. My dad collects old tools. I have a lot of old things, old tools and such, but I've never had tools that have lasted long enough for myself, because I'm still using them.
Sure, yeah.
Like I've got drills and I've got, skill saw and things like that. But my dad has the tools that my grandfather used,
Yeah.
And so he's got those on display, or his great grandfather used. And so this is the first, vintage tool to add to my collection, so to speak.
Yeah.
And this is even more fun that it gets to become a piece of artwork, so to speak.
You're going to hang it on your wall
And I
at some
still
point?
get to use it.
Yeah.
So that's really neat. So that's one of my first things just to talk about was that. So
very nice.
No, that's something to be thankful for.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the relationships you make in the detailing industry. That doesn't just happen. That's something that, comes through a lot of, shared
Years,
experience. Years of just, slinging it. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I mean, like on that same note of just being thankful, I mean, I think something hit me last week when Dane's work hit me. Like after seeing our SEMA After movie.
Yeah.
Like after watching that and seeing just, you could see in our eyes and our faces and how we're acting, how much fun we're having at this show, and being able to experience something like that, and also to be able to film it, to be able to film the entire process, and have, you know, a company that's so cool about that loves telling a story, that loves, you know, like archiving this history. You know, we get to see that, and Dane does such a great job portraying that through camera and through film and everything. And so the whole video being edited was just awesome. I mean, it captured kind of everything of, you know, who we are. We're fun. We like to joke around. We like to
I tried to capture like an A to Z experience, the week.
We like to do things.
It didn't take nearly as much footage as I thought. You know, I was going in because, hey, it's a new experience. I wanted to actually experience it. I didn't want to be like separated between the lens and what's actually happening. I wanted to be present.
Yeah.
So there was a big part of that too. But I can guarantee in future years, now that I kind of know what to expect, it'll make it so every time we do this, it'll just get better and better. But one thing I wanted to stress about all this is we don't take any of this for granted. This is something that we really appreciate, having these experiences. I never thought I'd be able to do this stuff. Like, I always loved the idea of SEMA. I never thought I'd be there.
We had a good talk at SEMA. We were talking about Dane's first week as an employee of the rag company. So those of you that don't know, you know, the rag company was started by a woman and her husband, Beverly, and she had to go into hospice, and so Dane's parents actually ended up buying the company from her. And Dane, you quit your job.
I quit my full-time job with benefits to go work in a cold, dark garage. Yeah. And there was a little bit of adjustment involved. Yeah. But at the same time, it was one of those few cases where not everybody gets these opportunities, and sometimes you just see something, and in your, you know, head, you can kind of see, wow, I don't think anybody else sees this, but I believe that there's potential here. Yeah. And I'm a car guy. I was interested in the fact that, hey, among other things, this company caters to detailers. But it was such a, like, you know, very, very down low level thing where, like, some people knew about us, but at the same time, it was pretty much like word of mouth stuff where it was very low level. We didn't have a very high profile because we weren't a brand. We were a supplier, and we made really good stuff, but at the same time, it was a real uphill battle getting more people to find out about it. Yeah. But the thing with all that was, it was just a risk that you take because you believe in what you can make out of it. And I was excited because it was kind of a clean slate. The potential was there, but it was, you know, a garage business up to that point, and it had so much room for opportunity and growth that I was just excited at the possibility. So I jumped on it, but the whole reason it even became available to us is just because a lot of other people didn't see that potential. They didn't see that possibility in it. And, you know, I had to get a little creative and abstract with what I thought we could do, but hey, we're doing it now. We got a YouTube channel. We're making videos. Yeah, that's what I never thought I'd be able to make videos again for my job. That's so cool. So
when you were freezing in the 2-car garage of your parents.
And to tell you the truth, the motivation of like why I was there and working my butt off to actually like make it happen was, one of these days I'll get to work around cars and shoot videos, and it'll be what I want to do. It'll be great. But right now I just gotta pack these boxes, ship this stuff out, talk on the phone, do all these basic
Dane was stuff. The only employee at the time.
If you were talking to the rag company at the time for years, I was the one you were talking to. So, yeah, it's come a long way. I'm really, really proud of us. Good job, guys. Yeah, thank you. Pat yourselves on the back.
Yeah, well, and to Dane's credit, the reason you know of the rag company is because of all the work you did.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, seriously, there was no Facebook presence. There was no YouTube presence. There was no internet presence, period.
I was making it up as I went along. I made that up out of just, you know, the logo was like, come up with some different ideas and you figure out what works.
You did go to school for...
All right, he
does have some experience. I mean, he is
I'm
very
not a graphic
creative,
designer.
But,
I just make stuff up. But, I went to film school, did a year of that. Still paying off those student loans.
Yeah. So he does have some practical training behind that.
Right, yeah. So the video aspect, I was just excited. I never thought I'd be able to do it, though, once I moved back from, you know, the Hollywood area and all that stuff. It was like, well, I guess
back in Boise.
That ship sailed back in Boise. There's not a lot of Hollywood going on over here. Yeah. So, yeah, we just make your own way.
Yeah. But that's also a big thanks to all of you who have followed us, who have wanted to talk to us, who have, you know, sent us messages, sent us emails, hit us up on Instagram, hit us up on Facebook, commented on the videos, liked our videos, shared our videos.
And if it wasn't clear enough already,
listen to this.
We're here for the long haul, so we're not we're not going anywhere.
We're having a lot of fun, and the things we've got set for 2018, I think, are going to surprise you guys.
We just got out of a meeting.
We had a 3.5 hour meeting.
So much stuff.
Planning for 2018, and it's going to be crazy. We can't talk about a lot of it now, but be prepared. The next couple weeks, we're going to start releasing a lot of neat little goodies and things that we're going to be carrying and selling and utilizing.
You're going to see a lot of new stuff, but one thing I wanted to stress out of all that, without getting into too many details, one thing we can say is, as far as the experience with us goes, all that stuff, the things you like about us, those will continue to be there. But one thing we really want to push, because we listen to you guys, we want to simplify and make things more, easily understandable for people just coming in. Like, maybe they don't know all of this, talk about, different levels of stuff. So we want to create an environment where people feel less confused, less overwhelmed with, product selection and what all the details mean. We want to make it so you can feel like you can get where you got to be, and you can get there quickly.
We want to really just add to the whole experience of buying through us. I mean, that's kind of the ultimate goal. I mean, when people call and place orders, I mean, they get to talk to us. They get to, the same people you're in this room, you could ask for us and we can talk to you on the phone
we'll
about
talk to
towels. And people love that experience. People love that, they can hear it from, the professionals or the hobbyists or people that care. And so our main goal is to make that experience even better for you. And so whether it's talking to us, whether it's having more insight from us in our videos, we really just want to make the whole rag company experience just better, just buying through us and then getting education. Because, I mean, one of the biggest things we've always pushed is education. And the more you know, I mean, the better suited you are to buy your towels or figure out which towels you need. And maybe it's not just towels. Maybe it's methods. Maybe it's really deep rabbit hole talks about,
we had that
detailing
last week
products
away,
and things like that. I mean, like, we're totally cool to get into any of that with you, whether it's talking over the phone, whether it's talking on Facebook or emails, social media, whatever it is. I mean, we want to make sure that, we keep that connection with you and that it doesn't become like impersonal. We want to make
where you get that big wall between, you're watching videos of some brand and then you'll never be able to talk to the person who's actually, conveying that information. We want to be accessible. So
no, we
if
are
you got
not,
questions, you can talk to us.
We don't act like movie stars. We are so down to earth. I mean, like
we're literally just three dudes that are.
I don't know. Would a humble person say that?
Yeah.
No, we're literally just three guys making videos.
Sit down.
Yeah,
we're recording. But we're recording like right now. We're just the three of us are talking. This is something that we do all the time, all day anyway.
We do work, but I mean, we do talk.
We do work, but we do talk a ton, to the point that sometimes I'll just be in my office and I'll call you on the phone, and these two share a line, and we're just on speaker back and forth talking about something or an idea.
You never know what's going to come out of those conversations. Great new ideas for stuff.
And then the same thing with your folks. It's the same thing. Your dad, he likes to freestyle a lot.
Or open and receptive to new ideas. And
he's very open to listening to what he puts out a question, and then we provide answers. And
usually the answers aren't what's expected.
But everybody's allowed a say, which is really fun, and it's a great environment that we're allowed to do that. But it's because of that. But it's because of that culture of we are still a family-run business, but we are. We may seem like we're big and. We've got the people that complain about how we're too biased or we're too into this product or this type or that. We're still a small business. We aren't Auto Geek, so we can't carry every brand. And so we have to do what's managed growth. It may seem, because of the size of our social media reach and things like that, people assume that we have a very large business and that we're allowed to do a lot of things.
Like we're some massive corporation or something. We're real people in a real small business environment.
And so when we take the time to maybe add a product or something, there's hours behind that. There's a lot of time. We carry Solution Finish here in our store. We've been a distributor of Solution Finish for almost a year.
We've had a lot of customers, but it's all through the store.
It's all through the store, and we're going to be, releasing it soon with a pack, and that's something that people are going to hopefully maybe understand. Like we try and make sure we figure out the best way forward on everything we do, and so we could just get everybody and anybody and pull all these people in and see what we could do, with all the different products and things. But that's not
not our
style. If it doesn't work for us, if it's not something Anthony and I would use on our own cars or somebody else's cars that maybe we're detailing for, if I'm not going to use a product that hurts.
Why would we carry that?
Yeah, and I'm not going to use a tool or a piece of equipment that hurts my hands. I know what it is to have the damage done from improper use of things. That's why our brushes are very comfortable. Because I wanted to find something that works well for me. And if I work really well with it, then you will get it. And if you've never held that brush, you're going to go, wow, this is a really comfortable brush. I can sell you the 99-cent one.
Yeah.
And it's going to hurt, and you'll go, yeah, it does the same job. It does brush.
A brush is a brush. A towel is a towel.
But how does your hand feel after you've scrubbed for an hour?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it
the bristles feeling nice is one thing. Okay, you want to make sure the surface you're caring for is getting treated appropriately, but at the same time, like, your hand's got to hold the tool, so you want to make sure that you're actually ergonomically, comfortable with what's going on.
And then the other thing is we like doing business with the right people.
Right.
Those are why we have the relationships we started with.
Yeah. If you see us carry a product, it's because we believe in it.
Yeah. And it wasn't, we didn't, we went after Optimum to start selling their products. They didn't come after us and say, hey, you guys should sell our products. We pulled them up. We looked and did our research about them before.
Yeah.
And we got in and we just started selling products. And then it was, again, then they reached out after we started selling product to want to shoot and do videos with them.
Yeah.
So, we picked it because it fit well with our product.
O&R is so versatile, for example. That was the one that started it all. That's what got it on our radar.
Yeah,
when we
and
first started
like we said in the last one, we do detailer helper belts. Mm-hmm. Why? Because they work.
Yeah.
Because they're comfortable, they're easy to use. I was never a big apron guy, so a belt worked really well for me, and I used it in my shop. And I've got a number of hours on my detailer's helper belt. Plus, Kevin and Michelle are awesome people. You will not find nicer people.
No.
In this industry. They're amazing ambassadors.
Yeah.
Not only for their brand, but for the industry itself as an awesome
people, man.
Yeah.
They're such nice
people. So we do business with them, because we like them as people. Optimum, yes, it's a chemical company, and yes, there are 10, 15, 20, 100 other of those chemical companies.
Of chemical companies out there.
Dr. G and Ivan and Dan and all those guys are Shay, the marketing director. Like, they're all great people, and we've created great relationships with them. And that's we're thankful for that.
Yeah.
Chris West at Solution Finish, is an awesome guy. And just super fun to talk to and see, and we love him because of how awesome he is. He's just so positive and happy with everybody that he wants to work with.
He's got a cool beard too.
Yeah, and a cool beard. So, there's reasons that we work with the people that we work with. And then David Patterson from Lake Country. Yeah. Lake Country's been super fun about wanting to cross brand. They don't do that normally.
No.
We're the first company to say, well, not only do we want our logo, but pads, put your logo on there.
Yeah.
We want both our logos on there. You guys make the pads. We're going to sell them, but we want both our logos on there. And they were like, really?
Well, and I think that's what you hear it from a lot of people is people appreciate not only just the stuff we offer and things like that. They appreciate the way we go about, our business and the detailing industry. We try not to be super selfish or, toot our own horn when there's plenty of other companies out there. We feel like they deserve our support, and we can offer their products. Like he was saying, good people, but once again, the product's got to work first.
Yeah.
So if the people are great, but the product is just they're you can be friends with them, but at the same time, you don't have to carry their product.
Yeah.
It's not like you owe somebody a favor to carry their product. And that's, for some reason, people get that in their heads sometimes about that kind of stuff, and it couldn't be further from the truth. So if we carry something, it's because we believe in it.
Right.
And, yeah.
And it goes through, I mean, everything goes through a lot of testing. I mean, when we try some stuff out, I mean, we can't say anything yet, but we are going to have some new stuff coming out here in the next month or so. Mm-hmm. And it really, not only did it start with the product, but it started with building the relationship with the person behind the product and getting to know that person and seeing, you know, how do they present themselves? You know, how you know, are they nice? Are they good to deal with? You know, would we want them essentially working with us, working for us? Is that somebody
want
that
to
we
associate with people who can elevate you and vice versa?
Yeah. So I mean, and it kind of all starts like that. But we, you know, we're not necessarily always on the lookout. But we, you know, when we come across, it's kind of weird. It's kind of like a fate thing. When we come across somebody, we really are just so thankful to meet certain people, and then to find out they have this amazing product that works and we love it, and we get excited to work with them just as much as they get excited to work with us. It's like it's not a one-way thing. We're both so happy to be able to work with each other.
It's mutually beneficial.
Yeah. Right.
And that's our goal with everything that we do is, you know, it's not only for our customers. We want to be mutually beneficial. We want you guys to purchase from us because this, and this.
You support the ideas.
We want to be able to purchase from our suppliers because of this, and this. And so it all works down. And in the end, the person that gets the best out of that is the customer ultimately, because we're doing our best to try and source and get the right things, products that you don't have to think about, you just use and they work.
Yeah.
And
it's nice to be able to buy a product that not only works, but you can feel good when you buy it, like, oh, I'm supporting something I believe in.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you're kind of getting at. It's just, I like supporting this environment, this whole, you know, way of thinking, this whole approach to the detailing industry.
Yeah. So please do stay tuned. We're
humble, I swear.
We are going to be releasing a lot of new stuff right before the end of the year. So we're going to have some fun with it you guys.
Really,
it's going to be a ton
excited. We're really excited.
We're getting through this holiday week. That's the biggest goal. I mean, with the whole Black Friday and Cyber Monday, this is going to be a lot going on. And then the month of December, it's so funny because in comparison to last year, sometimes we look forward to the winter months as our slow months, maybe our time to catch up. But
traditionally, that's the way it was.
At this rate, there is no slow coming. We are. It's like.
Well, last year it ramped up way sooner than we thought. We were like, oh my gosh, like it happened 8 weeks sooner.
And then when spring comes around, somebody flips a switch and it goes. Into overdrive.
Like to give you guys an idea, I mean, just from filming, I mean, me and Dane, we have so much to film for just store stuff, things around here. But not even including more of our entertainment style videos. I mean, and there's new stuff coming that we have yet to reveal. But when it comes out, you'll see videos for that which we have yet to shoot.
Yeah, we have to shoot. So there's a lot coming. There's a whole lot coming. A lot on the plate right now, which. Like I said, we're looking forward to it. Not ideal that it's going to be 20 degrees here in the next month and a half. At the same time, I like to think it gives people a chance to get excited and they can sit there and go, oh man, as soon as I get that first ice thawing and everything, I am out there. I'm using this new stuff I just heard about, found out about. I was doing that last year. I mean, I was like, I couldn't wait until my hose would run without ice shooting out of it, and so because I couldn't wait to get out there and wash my car. Using a hose wash because I'd been using O&R washes. But, people get excited for new products, There will be solutions for those kinds of things. Yeah. So,
So stay tuned for that. Pretty excited about it.
If you can't tell, we're really excited for it. And
then, I don't know. So if you got anything else, I was going to tell a story.
Oh yeah, he's got a story. So
yeah,
you were detailing this weekend.
I was detailing this weekend. Yeah, for the record, I detailed my very first
large truck
Duramax dually. I had never
3500.
That was the biggest truck I detailed before that was a Ford Raptor, and that was a good sized truck. But this 3500 was huge, and let's just say that my own 21. My 21 worked its butt off yesterday. That thing was on a speed setting of 4 or 5 for pretty much several hours at a time. Oh, so it was a big truck. I had some fun doing that. It was pretty cool. The story behind that is it was this guy I had already done some details for. He owns a construction company, and he had that truck for several years, and that was kind of his workhorse truck. I mean, and it was in pretty good shape. But that day, which was yesterday, he contacted me over the weekend and said, hey, on Sunday, would you be able to detail this truck and do a full inside and out detail in one day? And I was like, well, I don't know if I can do it in one day. What's the plan? And he's like, well, I'm actually gifting this to a partner of mine, a guy that works for me. And he's never had a nice truck in his life. And he's never, he's been driving this old truck for the longest time. And he'd never had something this nice. He's like, I really want to gift it to him, and I want to make sure that it looks good.
That's cool.
So when he told me that, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna come out. He lives all the way out, out in Marsing or somewhere. Like it's a decent ways out.
It's far enough away and remote enough compared to. I mean, you think Boise is small,
but it's pretty. Yeah, it was a good drive. So I grabbed all of my stuff and I went out there and I just started booking it. I mean, I pretty much didn't take a break, didn't eat, didn't do anything, because he said the guy was, he was wanting to get the guy over by, 6:30. So I started at 9 a.m. and I was like moving, like nonstop. And
pull some lessons from the Levi Book of Efficiency.
Book of efficiency for sure. So I did that. I didn't get. I left before I got to see the guy's reaction. Because I got out of there, but the owner had contacted me today and said the guy was completely wowed. He loved it, so he was very happy.
That's awesome.
Made me feel good about my detail this week, and it wasn't just some.
Well, and you did it for a good deed.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, and you did get to share a small video of your work, didn't you? You posted on Instagram today?
Oh, I did.
So if people are curious, they can at least see some interior stuff.
Yeah, I did a quick little shot of using an APC on leather seats. What's the word? It's
caustic.
Caustic. It's non-caustic. It was well diluted. It was diluted 10-1, and I used our little horsehair brush to kind of show how it creates a lather when you
when you get it going. It's like, wow.
And it creates a nice lather. Some people decided to question whether or not you could use.
I wanted to watch Anthony talk about the couple of experts that
Now, mind you, you are working on coated leather.
Coated
factory coated leather.
It wasn't King Ranch leather. It was coated leather.
So the people that were having the issue with it are people who are talking about real.
They're thinking like saddle leather, all that. They're looking really at traditional old school leather.
Which you can't use those products on there, but on painted, coated leather.
If it's got a coating on it, it's a totally different ballgame.
Truck leather, it's totally fine.
pH neutral all-purpose cleaner, but it created a good lather, so you can check it out on Instagram.
And it created a good lather on Instagram. In the comments.
It looked good.
And a good debate.
It worked some people.
I mostly brought it up just to see how he took this one.
It worked some people up as well. So you can check that out. But it was a good day of detailing. It definitely got
Feel free to comment and stir the pot.
Got my work cut out for me with that job. But so that was it. So I'm ready for the story. I want to know what story you're gonna tell.
So
I haven't heard this.
All right. So this is one I've had in the back of my head for a while. Basically, long story short, to start, my wife was going through our house. We're doing our pre-spring cleaning. Mind you, this is pre-winter cleaning. So my wife likes to go through and she'll declutter the house because winter's coming and we're going to be kind of, holed up in it. She doesn't want to get cabin fever, so to speak. So she gets rid of some things. So we were cleaning the house. And so she goes, let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of this. I got rid of a computer desk. We cleaned out some stuff. I took one of our old computers and just put it in storage and anyway, she's going through stuff. We got bags of things to donate and all that. So one of the items, she goes, I'm tossing this. And I said, hold on a second. Cannot toss that. She goes, why not? It's old. Like, it still works. But she's like, we've had this for years. You need to toss it. And I said, I know. That's why I have it. It means something. So she goes, all right, well, then you get me a new one and you get rid of that. So this is the item in question.
Wonderful.
This is
my
alarm clock. And it has a cassette player.
Oh, it's one of those.
On it.
Man.
So that's cool. So you can actually get it to play cassettes.
I like how when you close that, the dust
the dust
actually
just
because it is. It's so old. It's got dust that's like worked its way into the grills.
I got a detail brush for that.
Yeah, we should.
And some APC.
We should detail it. So this
some solution finish. How about that?
Yeah.
So this was purchased for me when I was 19 years old. It was purchased for me by my old manager at the time. He was the owner of the car wash that I was working at.
Story time.
Yeah. So I was a 19-year-old kid. I was managing a car wash, a full-service car wash, which is the kind where you pull up, you get out, they vacuum, they run it through the tunnel, they get out the other side, they dry it, do the windows, and dress the tires and stuff.
I'm sure some are cringing right now.
Yeah, so that's where I started.
But hey,
I started when I was a 17-year-old kid, started working there. Yep. And also we do what was known as express details. So you do the hand wax, the carpet shampoo, upholstery shampoo, and what we called it interior super clean.
Boom, boom, done, get it out.
All 4 of those, you get them together for like $100, and they called it a full detail. So that's where I started my career was doing that. At 19, I was probably I was 19. Like most 19-year-old kids, it's like the first time you kind of get out on your own, and you start hanging out with your friends, and you come home from work, and then you do this and do that, and next thing you know, it's 3 in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, and you realize you have to be to work at 8 o'clock.
Where did the time go?
Right. And, it's typical and normal with, 19-year-old kids that this is going to happen.
Sure.
And to that aspect, Matt, who's running the shop now, said the same thing. He had to lay off one of our 19-year-old employees because he couldn't get to work on time. And he even increased his time for him, an extra 30 minutes to an hour, because he was late every day. He wasn't late when he lived with his parents, but as soon as he moved out on his own, he was late every day, 30 minutes late. So Matt changed his start time to 30 minutes sooner. He was still late. He was still 30 minutes later. So it never got better. No. And he'd go, I'm going to go to lunch, and he'd leave and go to lunch, and he wouldn't come back for like 2 or 3 hours. And Matt was like, this isn't right. So he had to let him go.
Yeah.
So thinking about that, when I heard about that, it reminded me of this and why I got this. And my boss, who was the owner of the car wash, said one day I showed up late. It's like half hour, 45 minutes late to work. And he goes, this is getting ridiculous. You're a good kid. You're a good worker. I need you to show up. And I was like, oh, I'm really sorry. And he's like, he goes, I know exactly what's going on. I need you to show up to work if you want a job.
Like blank.
That's how it's going to be. And I was like, all right. He goes, no, I'm serious. I will fire you. If you are late one more time, I will fire you. And I said, okay, I understand. So I'm working. It was after lunch. That same day, he showed up, and this was in a case that he had bought at the Rite Aid down the street here on State and Glenwood. Yeah. He went and bought that there. And he goes, I went and bought you an alarm clock. And I was like, you didn't need to do it. He's like, no, I did, because now you don't have an excuse. I bought you an alarm clock, and then it's got a spot in the back for batteries. And he bought me batteries and put them in there.
He thought of everything.
In case the power goes out. Yeah.
He brought me a case of batteries too, and said, "Put those in there." So now there is no excuse. If the power
I'm going
to
stand here and watch while you put those batteries.
Right. In. Yeah. And he goes, "I want that plugged in. I want you to call me and tell me that it's all." Because what it was he cared. He cared about who I was as an employee.
He wasn't trying to be mean. He cared enough to actually do that.
Yeah. He didn't want to fire me.
No.
And he didn't want to, make it, he liked having me around. He liked having me be there. He liked relying on me to open the store, close the store, do all that kind of stuff. Because I made his life a little easier. And if I couldn't get to work on time,
his life was less easy.
His life would be a lot less easier. And he didn't want to have to deal with that. So he took the measures as a boss to do these things to take care of me.
That's a good boss move.
This has been my alarm clock since that day.
I can't blame you.
Until the other day when my wife, now I've been using my phone for an alarm clock forever, but this has been plugged in, always plugged in, and has the time set. Always.
Yeah.
In my house, in my room, since I was 19. I'm 37 years old. Now, this guy and I are still friends. His name's Scott Oldham, and he was at our last Cars and Coffee. He stopped by our booth to say hi.
That's cool.
He was with his wife, and he had brought his Challenger down. And me and him hadn't seen each other. We've been friends on Facebook, but we hadn't physically seen each other in, since I was probably 22. So,
oh wow, yeah,
15 years.
A little while.
That's crazy.
So anyway, when my wife said I'm tossing this, I said, hold on. There's a reason I have that. And she goes, that's fine. You just get it out of this house. So
it's to work.
Yeah. So I brought it to work. So maybe it'll go on my shelf. With this.
Yeah.
It's kind of ugly and it's kind of beat up, but there's a reason behind
trophy.
it.
It's a trophy from life.
I can toss this technically because I now have it on the podcast. It's recorded onto YouTube. It's now on the internet forever.
Yeah.
But this thing,
time.
Yeah, but it's always been in my room, and I've used it, and it was a reminder of me at 19 to get my act together.
Be responsible
and don't be late to work.
It's seen a couple drops. It's seen some.
It got melted there. Like I don't know.
But despite all the plastic, sometimes the plastic was just well put enough together that it doesn't.
Yeah, and it probably
shatter into a million pieces.
It probably cost him $20 at the time. Yeah. It's got 2 or 3 alarms on it. And
I mean, it creaks and rattles, but it's still.
It does creak.
I mean, when you move it, it's like.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys can.
But. Well, we're not trying to make an ASMR video.
Oh, sorry, but yeah, you can hear the creaking. So,
but yeah, no, it's
That's a good story, though. I like that. I think it tells a lot, from like not just a boss's perspective, but it tells maybe people that are younger kids listening to this. There's certain things that are just really important, and being on time is always important. I'll admit I'm late for a lot of things, and it's weird because it's like you get there early, you're going to be on time. You're going to be on time no matter what. You get there late, and it's like you've kind of missed that opportunity. You basically have 2 out of 3 chances to get there early, get there on time, or get there late. If you can hit either 2 of those 3, you're in the clear. You're good to go. But if you hit that 1 out of 3, then
late means different things at different jobs. Sometimes 5 minutes late is acceptable. Other times it's wow, you totally missed the train there, buddy.
Oh, yeah. When I worked
at some jobs, if you're on time, you're late.
Well,
there definitely are those jobs.
When you have those, that type of job. I mean, like I worked at Lowe's for 4.5 years. You worked at Home Depot, and so I mean, I had a job that I needed.
What time were you getting to work there in the morning?
I worked. Okay, funny thing. I worked for a year and a half. I worked it was like the stocking crew. I was a receiver, and so
like graveyard shift.
Well, it was not really. I had to be up at 3:30 in the morning.
Okay.
I had to be at work at 4, and then I would work 4 to 9:30 a.m. and then my first college class would start at 10:30. So I would go straight from 9:30 I would drive straight to college. And I'd be from there from 10:30 to 7:30 at night was my last class that ended. And then I would go home, sleep for a couple hours. This was the worst college student life ever, by the way, because I couldn't do anything. And so then back up again at 3:30. Yep. So I did that for a year and a half. But then when I started working more normal shifts, doing more sales and stuff, I mean, if you're not there at 9:30 on the sales floor, ready to go, there's a person that's maybe waiting to take their lunch or take their break, and they're expecting you to be.
You're leaving that person hanging, there, and they get mad.
And so it's like you had to be on time, you had to be there early, and you had to be ready to go. And
chain reaction.
And so when you're late, you affect so many other people.
Right.
There's those jobs that if you're late, then you affect 5 other people, 6 other people's jobs. I mean, it just depends on how many people are working there, but and that can really not be a good thing for you, because if, for example, if I'm ready to be off at 5:30 p.m. at the end of the day, and somebody's supposed to take over my shift at 5:30 when I leave, and they don't show up till 6:30,
and I had a job like that. Yeah. After this, I went and worked at Micron Technology, which is a chip manufacturer for microchips. I worked there for just a little while. It was the only gap in my detailing career, but I had a job that was like that. Mm-hmm. My shift started at 5:45 in the morning and ended at 5:45 at night. And so I needed to be in that bay to relieve the person in my bay at 5:45.
Yeah.
And I still had to dress. It was a full clean room situation, and so that was the bunny suit. You had to put on the whole shoes, boots, coveralls, face mask, everything. You had to put all that on and get through the clean air scrubber.
We have to cook, Jesse.
Yeah, and then get to your bay, and it's a mile from the parking lot to your bay. It was a mile.
Yeah.
From walking in that facility, and so you had to make the time to get there, park in time, to walk, to drop your stuff off at your locker, to be able to get back over into the fab, to then suit up, and then be in.
And you got to be in there at 5:45.
And you need to be there either early or right on the nose.
Or 5:30.
Yeah, 5:30, 5:45. And if you showed up 5 minutes late, man, the person that you needed to relieve was starting to get antsy. Well, because they've got another mile to go. You know, they've got to get out. They've got to change. They've got to get in their car. They got to leave. And so, you know, it wasn't a...
Once they're off, they're not really off.
It wasn't show up at 5:40, show up into the parking lot at 5:45.
No.
It's show up in the parking lot at 5:15. So you got 15 minutes to walk and change so you can be in the fab by 5:30, 5:35. So then you can walk for another 5 minutes to get to your bay.
Yeah, so we've all kind of had those jobs where it was critical to be
But there was that first job that let me know, like, I would lose it if I didn't get my act together.
Oh, yeah. And it doesn't take too many chances before people stop giving them. So
And, you know, you can't... I know lots of guys that progressively never learned this alarm clock.
Habitual. They can't help themselves.
Yeah, they never learned this.
Well, and then...
Well, they can help themselves. They just don't.
Getting fired for being late, that's not something you want on your resume. It's not something you want
really
to tell
make
people.
For a great reference.
You know, that if somebody references why'd you get fired? I was late all the time. Okay, well we'll keep in touch. I'm not really sure if you're gonna be cut out for this job. So it's one of those things. Being on time is important, you know, and something like that. I think it's a great story and kind of demonstrating that. And so
become a detailer and make your own schedule.
Yeah, exactly. Or start working for yourself.
But even in my shop, you know, the kid that was late all the time, you know, it caused a distraction to the rest of the crew because you have timelines for vehicles.
Yeah.
Customers' cars need to get done at a certain time, and if you can get something done sooner rather than later, that's a good thing. And you can get it out to your customer sooner. Or if you've got to finish a car so that you can get started on the car that you did schedule and your help hasn't shown up or the person that you're working with doesn't help up, that, you know. Either way, it's the dependability, it's being accountable, and it's being responsible. So it's a lot of those things. So I'm thankful for this old alarm clock and all the years that it's served on our nightstand in our room. My wife is very thankful for the new one that I bought her because it looks nicer than this old beat up sucker. But you know, it's little things that you can be thankful for that'll have impact in your life or in the lives of others. So
and I'm sure all those people who had those shifts right after you were always thankful that you showed up on time. To all the people who are on time out there, I'm sure those other people are thankful. Or at least they should be. One day this will be considered retro vintage, and people will want to have them back in their homes.
Just keep
give it a little time. I mean,
they're like, "Wow, can you polish out that plastic?"
I know you're looking, you're like, "Oh, cheap plastic," but give it time. One day,
get your eyebrow. Let's polish that sucker out. Let's detail this thing.
Yeah, it's got AM, FM radio on there. You know, people are like AM radio. Oh man, I don't think there's any more channels left, but.
I'm pretty sure Coast to Coast will survive the apocalypse.
So
there's always that.
That's probably why I keep it.
True.
It's the only thing that'll work. This little antenna here.
There's like paint on it. There's when you painted
a lot of rooms. Painted a lot of rooms with this thing running. This was my radio.
This shows a life well lived here. So that's pretty cool.
I thought it was pretty pimp. I had a radio in my room that could play cassettes.
Oh, buddy.
1999.
Smooth jams. Oh, man.
Good stuff.
Oh.
That's awesome. Well,
okay. So we covered a lot of bases today, but I feel like, what's our time at? I'm curious. We could probably keep keep
50
going.
minutes.
50 minutes. We got 10 more minutes in
10
us.
more minutes
Yeah,
to talk.
absolutely.
No,
People
so
watching, we got some more stuff to
so
talk about.
I've been asking everybody around the office about what they're wanting to pick up for Black Friday. If they have any cool things, and went on the conversation. They said, well, Anthony, who stays out for Black Friday lines anymore? You just go and order everything online and everything. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. And then I told them, I said, well, I stood out in a line one time, and then they're like, you did? What do you do? So this was one of those things that was so unplanned.
That's what makes it funny.
It was a Wednesday. It was a Wednesday evening. I had the day off for some reason, and I was out driving by the mall, and I'm driving past the mall and I see a Best Buy over there to the left, and I was debating whether I needed to go and pick something up before they were closed, the following day for Thanksgiving. And I was driving by, and I look, and I see one person standing out in front of the door, right next to the door. And I see him from a really long distance, and I'm thinking to myself, what a loser, right? They're out there already in line for Black Friday. It's Wednesday evening, and they're already in line. What a loser. So I'm like, you know what?
The families are working sick. They're nowhere to be found.
I should go up. I need to go up and get something at Best Buy. I need to just go get it done. So I'm pulling through the parking lot, and the closer I get to those front doors, I see the person, and it is my friend Aaron, right? And I'm like, Aaron, is that you? And he's like, hey, man, what's going on? I'm like, what are you doing out here? You're the first person in line. He was like, well, I was driving by, and I noticed that nobody was in line, so I wanted to be the first person here. And I'm like, you have nothing. I'm talking it's 40 degrees. He's standing out there in just a pair of jeans, a t-shirt, and he has his cell phone. And I'm like, well, what was your plan? He's like, well, I just kind of parked and started standing, and this is kind of all I had planned. So before I know it, I'm standing next to this guy in line, and people are walking by, and he's like, well, are you in line too now? And I'm like, well, I guess so. And before you know it, that's when the really competitive Black Friday started pulling up, and guy pulls up in a vehicle, starts unloading a tent, unloading a little propane heater, and all this stuff. And so I'm looking at my friend Aaron, are we prepared for this at all? And
how long are we standing?
How long are we standing here for?
This is Idaho. It gets cold.
It's Wednesday evening. We still have all of Thanksgiving to stand here. So he's like, well, I'll stay here if you can go get me a bunch of supplies. I've already contacted my brother to find me a tent. He's like, can you source some other things?
Help. Yeah.
So I get in my car, and I went to the grocery store. I went back to my parents' house. I got a propane heater. I started getting everything I needed to live comfortably in front of this Best Buy.
Spend Thanksgiving in front of Best Buy.
And my parents look at me like, Anthony, what are you doing? I'm like, well, I was driving by the Best Buy. I saw Aaron out front, and he was in line, so I kind of started standing there, and I guess I'm kind of part of it. So basically, long story short, it was the year Best Buy was giving away, or not giving away, they were doing these Black Friday deals on these TVs. And keep in mind, this is before the LED flat screen TVs got really cheap, and because now they're reasonably priced.
You can get a killer one for $250.
Oh yeah, but so at this deal, it was something like a 43-inch LED TV for $199, right?
Oh my god!
So really good deal for what it was, and so all these people were wanting to get in line for this. So by Thanksgiving evening, there was a line going all the way around to the back of the building, back into the receiving department of the building. There was that many people, and I was set up in a tent with my friends. We had about 10 other people, and it became like an encampment. Not an encampment, I should say. I should say like I don't know what it was.
Occupation.
But it was like a
have your mail sent there.
It was like a small little town, but we're all there and we're trading things. We're sitting there like, hey, I see you got, some Cheez-Its down there. I have Gardettos if you're looking to maybe, mix the two together or trade. And so
did they give you trouble when you went back to the line because you hadn't been in it for a while?
Yeah, so that was
I have to imagine they would have. Who are you?
The problem is that there was no bathrooms around here. You either had to go into Best Buy when they were open and and let somebody else watch your spot, or you had to go out in the bushes. So the guy that came up right directly behind us, he was hardcore. This guy would go out in the bushes behind Best Buy. Everything he needed to do. Number one, number two, you name it. He did it all back behind the building.
You figure Best Buy would have an issue with that.
People pooping in the back of Best Buy.
It was at nighttime, so
I understand it's a thing.
Nothing was open, but I think it was Thanksgiving Day. I told Aaron, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go back to my parents' house and get some Thanksgiving food, and I'm gonna bring it back. And by this time, there was a few people, so. When I had came back with food, walking up to the line, and I went to go sit down on my chair, and put stuff inside the tent, there was like 5 people, five people down. A lady came out, and she's like, "Hey, who are you? What are you doing here?" And I'm like, oh, "I've been in line." She's like, "Well, I haven't seen you at all." And I'm like, "Well, I've been inside the tent. I've been here." And she's like, "Well, are you getting one of the TVs?" Because I was here and I counted everybody, and I'm expecting one of the TVs. I heard there's only 10 passes, and are you going to be one of those ones? And I'm like, holy crap!
Like I've been here since
Wednesday night. Something about
this
people who act that way get under my skin. Like people who are I did the math. You're wrong. You're a bad person. Yeah. What are you doing here? It's like really nosy, interrogating. Whoa. Okay,
so it was one of these whole things where it really started getting really dramatic. So like I said, like this little town we lived in, not only was it like a trading system, but then there was like some like hate developing for certain people.
Gotta build a barricade now.
Like you're in the higher class.
Yeah, and some people
number 2 in the door.
So the people that were up closer to the door, they had it made. Since we were the second people in line, we were like living like kings. And then the people that were that may or may not get that TV, depending on how many they had,
corner of the building.
They were very stressed. And then the people that weren't getting the TV at all, that were still in line, they were just angry. And
they were hoping somebody would duck out.
They were hoping somebody's going to duck out, or they were hoping for like a miracle or something. But you could tell they were really bitter. But long story short,
well, if you see the line and then you choose to hang out anyway, that's on you, man. If you're like all the way around the corner, fine, but that's your choice.
Yeah. So I ended up getting So I ended up getting a Blu-ray player is what I got. My friend got the TV because I really didn't need the TV, but I got the Blu-ray player. It was like a $30 Samsung Blu-ray player. I was pretty stoked on that. I got a bunch of Blu-ray movies for $3 or something, and then I got some pretty cool stuff. I couldn't complain, but
you also got to meet Uncle Giuseppe. Oh no,
that wasn't that time. That was a different time. But no, it was one of those experiences where I'm glad I did it. Because how many people have camped out in front of a Best Buy for 2 days?
But that was a really spontaneous thing to do.
2 days.
But
like it was so fun though, because I was pretty young. I don't know how old I was.
I was to say you'd have to be pretty young because most people don't have the luxury of the time to be able to do something like that.
Yeah. It was like I was like 22 and I had like a weird shift at work to where I had like Wednesdays off. It was one of those weird shifts where I kind of had the middle of the weekdays off, and so I'm so glad I did it because I can say that I survived a Black Friday.
Line warrior.
A line warrior, and it was so cold out.
Man.
It was just funny. But no, I was asking everybody else if they're getting anything for Black Friday, and I think the general consensus now is that most people are doing their shopping. Probably most are doing their online.
Yeah, it's been that way for a few years, but it's progressively turned more and more that direction. So even the more mainstream crowds are now like, okay, we can kind of let this insanity go from doors exploding. Because I used to work in the mall. That was crazy.
It's also evaluating what kind of deals are you really getting. Are the in-store
that's
deals
the other thing. The deals aren't really that big of deals half the time.
So I'm planning on getting a couple things for Black Friday that my wife and I have been looking into getting and needing to get, and I figured I could have bought these items a month ago.
Yeah.
But I thought, we're close to Black Friday. Let's just see. I'm going to be buying these items anyway. Let's just see if there's a chance that any of these items go on sale.
You're not buying them just to buy stuff.
But I'm not going just to buy stuff. Yeah. I've been planning on, like we need a new laptop. So I need to replace the laptop. We need to, I need to get another tablet for my daughter. And so I thought, well, why don't I buy myself a tablet and give her mine? And then I don't have to worry about this stuff. Yeah. And so there's little items that, we need to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought, why not wait and see,
Yeah.
Who's got a deal on what? And if it's a good deal, then sweet.
Black Friday is Cyber Monday.
I was going to buy it anyway, and at least maybe I'll get something out of it.
Yeah.
You could save a little money, which will be good.
There's certain, like, you know, like, I mean, I guess if I were to go to a store or something, if it wasn't overly crowded, and like, say if it was like a video game that was normally $60 for $20, and if I could just walk in and pick that up and walk out, I'll do that all day long.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to sit here and...
The truth of the matter, though, is that deals like that hardly exist anymore. Like, a lot of the deals you see
I miss the old Hastings.
I miss
Black Friday.
Hastings.
Hastings. Awesome. They actually had deals.
That weekend was just the weekend of Thanksgiving was so Hastings used to be here in Boise. I think it's still available in some other states, but I'm not sure.
It was like a Spencer's Gifts meets Best Buy meets.
It's like
it's
an
an
electronic
Barnes and
bookstore. You could rent movies, like rent.
Yeah, you
old
could rent.
Movies
You could rent new movies. You could rent movies. Period. It was like
But the store was kind of divided into sections.
Yeah,
so
it had a
bookstore.
bookstore.
You have a literary section. Yep. You have like this is clearly like Hot Topic ripoff section, and then you have.
But it smelled like it smelled like nerd in there, and I loved it.
It was very familiar.
Well, it's hard because it had been in Boise for 25 years in multiple locations.
Yeah.
And so there was always a Hastings to go to. It was what you did after you got out of school for a couple hours with your buddies.
It was one of those places
go to Hastings, you go wander around.
It was a place to hang out, too.
Yeah.
And they didn't care.
They had coffee shops in some of them and stuff.
You could go and grab a book from the shelf, a brand new book, grab a cup of coffee from the little coffee shop, sit down and read their book, and they didn't care. Like, as long as people were there hanging out, like,
if anything, it helped them because, hey, people see that and they just like the atmosphere. Yeah. It's cool.
Yeah. But then on Black Friday, they'd have crazy sales because they'd sell DVDs. And so all the ones that they, rented, they'd
have like a big bin.
They'd have a bin on sale of stuff. And so you'd get movies for $1 or you could get 3 movies for $5 and then get a 4th for a penny.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter. And so it was fun. I really miss
stores.
I used to take my kids and we'd go wander, and it was a great Friday night. And now there's a D&B in our old Hastings. In the old location, there's now a D&B Supply, which is like just as wild and crazy.
Yeah.
Because they got gun safes. Yeah.
Well,
they've got barbecues. Yeah. They've got wood stoves.
It's like a really country Home Depot.
Yeah, it's
really,
they've
got being Idaho.
They've
got lots of clothes. They've got snow shovels,
Wrangler jeans,
cowboy boots.
But
then they also have like housewares. They have knives. They have ammo. It's very.
It's like a little Big Lots.
It's kind of wild. Like, and so like I took my kids the other night because it's only been open for a week, and it was fun. And I was like, okay, this is what I need on like those nights where it's, if my wife's teaching a class and I just need to let my kids kind of just roam.
Yep.
Yeah.
I just need to get them out of the house and Hastings was good for that.
Yeah.
And since then we've been trying to do like Fred Meyer's,
I wish
Home
they would
Depot.
bring like a Fry's Electronics here. Fry's Electronics.
Yeah, that'd be kind of fun.
One of my absolute favorites. And it was a little more electronics-y than Hastings was, but it still had a familiar kind of feel to it, just maybe a little bigger, like Circuit City combined with other things. But these are all things where like half the audience are like really young millennials going, "What's that?"
I miss
I don't know
Circuit
any
City
of that
as well.
stuff. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I miss like Comp USA and those places. You could get like really specific stuff, but of course we're speaking to like 5 people in the audience now. But hey, you know what? That stuff was cool. It was cool.
Yeah.
No, it's just fun. It's fun to wander and check out that stuff.
So I don't mean as far as things I might get. I know for sure I'm getting car parts. I've been waiting because car parts aren't cheap. I'm buying a new flywheel for my Evo. And I'm waiting for that to get like either 10%, 50% off if I can find a good deal for it. But then,
if your girlfriend is watching right now, I'm sure they're not as expensive as they look.
Oh, I mean, yeah, they're I'm not buying
definitely
nothing.
Looking at engagement rings.
Nothing for the car. I'm looking for other things.
He's looking for housewares and new drapes and curtains.
I've been waiting for some car part deals. I like doing that on Black Friday. It's just hard because you see these deals and you probably should be thinking about other people. Like, what should I be getting gifts on Black Friday? But me, I think, what can I get myself before I have to buy gifts for Christmas? It's terrible, I know, but...
I don't like asking other people for stuff. I like it better if I could just get myself something. It just feels better because you do feel kind of awkward. You're like, I guess if you're going to get something, I really want this really expensive thing. If you happen to get it, that's cool. If you don't, I'm just going to get it myself anyway. But it's just that kind of deal.
Then when you're older, you also want specific things. And you know what you want that are big things that you are wanting to buy for yourself.
It's the old case of saying you want Legos for Christmas, and then Mom brings Mega Blocks.
Yeah. Well, I told I made them easier for my mom. My mom asked me because my birthday's on the 16th of December, and she asked me what I want for my birthday, and like. I'm not going to tell her, hey, I want new lug nuts for my car. I'm not going to tell her something like that. I just told her, I'm like, I want give me a nice Norelco shaver, find something off Amazon. I would like a new shaver. And she's like, done. Like, that's easy. That's an easy thing.
Yeah. You take the same approach I do where it's like, okay, practical things.
Practical.
Clothes, socks,
razors,
dude, stuff, basic stuff. I'll handle the really specific stuff I'm interested in, but... anything is cool. New fleece pajamas, that's cool. That's great. Fine.
And
I'm sure somebody's asking for
that's how you know you're getting older when you get excited about those things. And so, exactly. Okay, we haven't really
something turned at a certain age.
We haven't talked about, I guess, we're a retail, so we haven't talked about our own Black Friday. So I guess we
got
about
some
that
stuff going on
for a little bit. But we do have some things going on. People have been asking.
We got
on Instagram.
pre-Black Friday going on right now.
That's going on right now, and there are some awesome deals.
We have some awesome deals because
even Eagle Edgeless, by the way.
We're trying to help us out as well as you out because we want to spread out the orders if we can before the badness hits on Friday and Monday. But towels are a great thing to get for somebody. If anybody's listening to this and they're thinking maybe what can I get a friend, introducing them to microfiber is a good option. Whether it's getting
towels can be used for anything and everything. It's one of those. Yeah, that's why we're in this business. Is it's versatile.
And so I mean, if you have a friend who's really into computers that likes keeping their computer screen clean, pick them up a butter soft suede cloth. Get them something that's really soft for that.
Yeah.
You got girlfriends that like
makeup removal,
removal towels or facial towels. We've got all that.
Washcloths, all that stuff. Yeah.
We've got silver infused towels, utility towels.
We have a firearms kit. So
we have a firearms
kit. That's a good gift idea.
Very good gift.
That's
for
a popular
people
one.
that like guns. If you have a friend, it's super affordable and it has everything you would need to keep that gun clean.
We have that on Amazon and our website, I believe. Yeah, you could just pick it up real easy.
I mean, so towels make a good gift. It's not going to break your bank, and they're going to be excited when they open it up. They might see a towel, but once they feel it, they're going to be pretty pumped on it. And I'm not just saying to spread the word of microfiber, which I mean I am, but I'm saying like,
but it's not just detail.
If
you can get something else. It's not just detail related.
Yeah, we're known for detailing stuff, but that's not the end all be all with us. We cover a lot of different.
Yeah, we have We have dusters. We have.
I mean, it's all kinds of cleaning stuff.
We got all kinds of different things. We got mops. We got.
But what I think is so cool about it is...
we don't have mops, do
we? we got rid of those because they're a pain to ship.
Mops. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that.
Sorry, but there are other places for that.
Yeah.
But no, just as far as like towels and stuff go, I think it's cool as a gift idea though, because at least, if you get somebody towels, they're getting a gift that they're actually going to use.
Yep.
They're going to appreciate it. They're going to think of you, hopefully,
especially
every time
when they touch
use
them.
that stuff. Yeah. And if it's a nice feeling towel, it goes a long way because, tactile, smell, all that stuff goes a long way towards like builds a memory. People really appreciate that. They remember that the next time around they get excited. Oh, wow, okay, I hope I get more towels this year. It doesn't sound like towels are an exciting thing, but people really appreciate that stuff.
Well, because, it's something that, like you said, it's something that they're going to use. And if they are a car enthusiast and they enjoy washing their car, spending time doing that, they're going to be super pumped on it. So I think that they're a great gift, really affordable, and they come packaged. So if you want to get something that comes in a kit, like a starter kit, you can get something like that to where it is packaged so they're not just loose towels or anything.
The firearm kit is packaged too,
we package everything that we can, when you guys are shipping out orders, but if it's something specific that you want to give some purpose to, like a firearm kit or, whatever it may be, then it'll actually say that on the kit so they know what they're getting.
Yeah, we've got a car wash kit, we got a silver kit, we got a gold kit, we got a platinum kit for detailers. We've
got the weekend warrior or the regular detailer in your life.
Towels and kits. We have.
I'm not trying to be cheap, but I'm sending out my family. I have family that live in California, family that live on on the East Coast, and they've been asking about our towels. They've been asking what I do, and so they literally asked. They said, "Hey, can you send me just towels for Christmas? Like, I would be happy with that." And I'm like, I could easily do that.
Yeah.
So, towels, or if you know somebody that's a big fan of us, we have T-shirts and we have cool snapback hats that are awesome.
Shirts,
we have these
hats, and beanies.
Yeah.
So we got a new order of beanies
swag.
in. Yep. Yeah. So. We'll have to post some new photos of the new colors that we made.
There's some cool
they're pretty
this
sweet.
week. So check them out because those will keep your heads warm, and they got fleece on the inside. So.
Yep. Well, hopefully, hopefully that helps you guys. I totally spaced that. I guess we can talk about it more closer to Christmas
it's also more fun to talk about regular stuff.
That is true. You guys don't want to hear us talking about products all day long.
Once you get to know us better, we can just talk about whatever. And if you guys want to listen, that's awesome. If you want more detailing stuff, we're putting out Detox Classics in between all these episodes too. Yeah. We had a little run where I wasn't doing that just because it was so busy, but I'm back doing it again now. So you will start seeing more Detox Classics appearing on the podcast channel. So, any rate, I think it's about time to wrap this one up. We're actually going a little late today because, well, it's the end of the day officially here. It's actually past it. So, time to go home. Just had so much to do today. It's the way it worked out. Any rate, guys, I want to say thank you once again. Thank you.
Hope you guys have a great week. Have a happy Thanksgiving.
Yes,
and,
have a happy
we
Thanksgiving.
will talk to you guys on Cyber Monday.
Yeah.
We'll record our next podcast.
That's true. All right, guys. Well, until next time, have a good one.
See ya.
Bye.